Fred Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti from the 75th Berlinale. I'm with Richard Linklater, who's here to present in competition Blue Moon. So Richard, on the 10th years anniversary of Boyhood, you're presenting in Berlinale your new film with your old partner in crime, Ethan Hawke. And I know that you've been thinking about making this film for a long time because Ethan said in Venice that you were waiting for him to get older and less attractive. That's what he said. So, but besides that, why did you become interested in this story, as it was told, if I remember correctly, in the letters, and why Ethan with you?
Well, it just happened over many years ago. Robert Kaplow, who's a friend of mine, told me he was working on something about Lorenz Hart, and I was like, I'm a big Lorenz Rodgers and Hart fan. What's that about? So he started sending me writings, and somehow or another, I think I showed him to Ethan. It was so fascinating, this character. It's such an odd story, a guy in this kind of predicament on this night, kind of having a meltdown, you know, so kind of beautiful and sad. So we just worked on it for years. But at that point, Ethan was just too young to play the part. And I, you know, too young, too good look, you know, it's a stretch, you know, who could be this guy? So, but Ethan, I tell him he aged into it and was able to do it. But no. What makes you want to make a film? Fascinating characters, fascinating story. It's about something that you can't quite put your finger on, something, you know, deeper and mysterious and sad and beautiful, and, you know, all those things.
You once said that you were more interested in vulnerable persons. So.
Well, this guy is an open wound, howling into the night, an artist being left behind. So.
In the film, Lorenz Hart gives a very interesting advice to a young aspiring writer. He says, beware of love stories, and friendship stories are the ones enduring. So do you agree with that? Is that the reason why Blue Moon, at least to me, felt like both a love story and a friendship story?
Yeah, it's both. You know, it's a love story between Hart and Rodgers. It's an artistic love story. You know, they're partners who are slowly, painfully breaking up. And then Larry and everyone else also has their notions of love. You know, so how kind of delusional that can be. You know, so that can be kind of sad. But, well, you know who he says that quote to, the young Yale student who wants to be a director. That is George Roy Hill, who goes on to make films such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, you know, wonderful Slapshot, wonderful director, largely about friendship stories. So it's a little inside joke also.
He took the advice.
Yeah.
Hart and Scott's Richard Rodgers have this long discussion about the future of show business and what people would like to watch and see. You know, people want to laugh, or is sentimental too easy, and all this stuff. So where do you stand in this debate that is still actual? And who do you feel closer to now? Hawke or Scott, Hart or Rodgers?
I think I'm always stuck with, well, you know, Rodgers was a genius, and I think there's some artists kind of gifted with an ability to give the current public what they want. And he was very good at that. He became even better with that with Roger Hammerstein. When it was Rodgers and Hammerstein, with Oscar Hammerstein, his lyricist, they achieved heights that no one else ever has. So he did have his hand on the pulse, as we say, you know. But this is an eternal debate. You know, you see this and you realize, oh, this is 82 years ago, and they're talking about pandering to audiences, meeting the audience. So I think this has been the artist's dilemma in the performing arts. You know, I don't know if Bach and Beethoven thought of this, but it's something in theater and certainly movies. It's the eternal question. But, you know, artists can only be true to themselves, you know. I think they know when they're not being true to themselves, so I don't know. But I think we're to sympathize with Hart at this moment. He is reaching for something kind of pure, and there was something very pure about his lyrics, but he's also impractical, and exasperating and has his head in the clouds too. So I admire Rodgers greatly, actually. He had an incredible career and was an amazing composer. And, I hope people like him too, because I sure do.
Nobody ever loved me that much. From Casablanca is Lorenz Hart's favorite line. So I was wondering, what's your favorite line ever in a film? And what's your favorite line from one of your films?
Oh, I don't. I will have the perfect answer in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm a writer, not a performer.
And we've been talking to Richard Linklater, director of Blue Moon, screening in competition at the 75th Berlinale. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.